Shalom, shalom, chaverim. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, an informal Steve and Jana chat because we have something very serious that's going on.
So we are here in informal chat together. What you drinking?
Zero.
Yeah, sugar-free. That's a deception. Let me see.
Well, everything is zero these days.
Erythritol. All right. One a day.
One a day?
I don't know.
With
Try to
20
drink
waters,
more.
20 waters, you can have one of these. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, we have some sad news, really. It is sad news for America. So tell us the sad news.
Oh, we got the wrong pages on too. Ooh, our stream is very poor quality.
Oh.
They have us down as, we're not streaming at all.
How come?
We're not streaming. Something's wrong. If you can see us, we're going to stop the broadcast. Or let's see. Okay. All right. So you guys, if you can let us know you can see us, because it's obvious that we're not being seen on this end here. Let me also, though, because of this situation, let me...
She says, yes, you are. Mary says, yes, you are. Stephen, you're socially...
All right, we're going to record this also
awkward.
Because we're in red.
You're socially awkward. I see you. We see you. They see us. The Ten Commandments. Arketuba. All right, you're coming through. I can see you. You're live. We see you. Okay, they can see us, Steve.
All right, we're going to record it, though, because...
Yeah, let's record it because they really messed up our last one. So... We see you in Holland. Hello.
All right, great. All right, so let me close this window out here. Then we're going to come back over to this side here so you guys can see what's going on.
Yeah.
As you know, Jana, the House has already passed resolution condemning anti-Semitism and bigotry. March 7th, 2019. Today is March the 8th. If the House has passed this, then we know that the next thing that is coming is that the Senate is going to pass this as well. That's not good.
Is it a good news or bad news for us?
It's a bad news. I think people need to understand, and I want to really make this clear here on Israeli News Live. This law will silence Israeli News Live. It will silence many other Jews are speaking of truth.
Yeah.
Not because you have to understand, anti-Semitism should be more defined completely differently. I would not be against an anti-Semitism bill if it was defined properly. But if you're exposing, for example, if we're exposing what the Zionists did to the Jews during the Holocaust, like in the case of Kastner was considered to be a hero of Israel for rescuing Jews, but as we know too well, the man sent many Jews to their deaths, complicit working with the Nazis. That would be considered anti-Semitism because we expose what he did.
Right, or Ben-Gurion. Ben-Gurion being a criminal who actually helped to kill his own. The airport is named after him. But if we say that now on this anti-Semitism bill, we won't be able to. So we won't be able to expose the crimes of those who hijacked Israel. And people don't realize that really good Jews, true Jews, are suffering even with that bill, because there's a lot of very good Jews who are exposing what is going on. And I want to show you a few things today.
Speaking on the Noahide laws is also going to be considered anti-Semitism because it is a New World Order law that is trying to be passed.
Exactly.
Well, it's already been passed in many of governments, including our own already.
Yes.
So exposing this and exposing the fact that the law allows for the beheading of Christians, that's called anti-Semitism.
Yeah, you cannot expose it. You cannot say anything against it.
It's kind of like in Israel on the Jerusalem Post. It was I forget what the source was originally. The General Gadi came out later and exposed how that Israel had been financing the jihadist fight against Bashar al-Assad inside of Syria. But before that, a few weeks before that, the Jerusalem Post posted an article that the IDF admitted to giving small weapons and ammunition to the jihadists, Al-Qaeda no less, and Al-Nusra inside of Syria. Now, this is what anti-Semitism would do. Like in the case of the Jerusalem Post, they were made by the government to remove the post. They had to remove it by law. So I don't know what the laws are going to, the enforcement of the law is going to be.
Let's read. We have a site here where, when you talk about anti-Semitism.
This is U.S. governmental website right here, U.S. Department of State.
Yeah, like what's anti-Semitism for real? Because what is to be anti-Semitic? If you really take it by definition, okay, Arabs are Semitic people. So when you are anti-Semitic, you are against the Semitic people. You would be against anybody from Middle East, Arabs, Jews, anybody who lives in Middle East, right? But that's not what this bill is about, because who described this bill and who made up a definition of that bill is actual Chabad Jews. Jews and Israel. State of Israel has defined, AIPAC, Jewish organizations, they have defined what it is to be anti-Semitic. And now we have this new definition of anti-Semitism, which will be against our free speech, against our Constitution, against everything American people believe in. So if you go with this, you go against yourself. So here we go.
I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so hopefully people on the screen can see it as well. June 8th, 2010 is when it was posted here. So let me put it right there for you. Go ahead. Let me mention too, though, real quick before you go into the bill, because they've made it more broad to deal with the Arabic community as well, that would also cause me to be not allowed to speak against Erdogan, the president of Syria, and they would be able to continue to do these false gas attacks against the Syrian people or any other people around the globe, and nobody can say anything about it because it's Semitic people.
Yeah. And let's see, how did this all happen? Well, they tried. They have put anti-Semitic laws inside of Europe a long time ago. People of Germany live under Nazism. Again, they live under Nazism. They cannot say anything because they go to jail, literally go to jail.
Yes.
We know of people who were going to jail because they were saying that not 6 million Jews died, maybe 5,599,000. Yeah. I don't know. You cannot say any other number but 6 million. Right? Because why? Because the Talmud says 6 million. It must be 6 million even. Right? So you cannot even mess with that in Germany. Now it's in Czech Republic. In many European countries, they're adopting this anti-Semitic definition and laws, putting people literally in jail. But in United States, they had very difficult time because of our Constitution. So what did they do? They put a puppet, a woman politician in, right? But now we think, oh, she's real and she's Muslim. And how did she get in?
She is.
Yeah, how did she get in so suddenly? And now she says something anti-Semitic, right? Well, you know what, Stephen? This is a conjecture, but I bet you everything uncovered shall be covered. I believe she was paid by Jewish organizations to do what she did, to say what she has to say, because that way they can pass their bill, they can find a loophole, and they can finally get through the Constitution into the United States, because this is called, ladies and gentlemen, Hegelian dialectic. And this is how New World Order operates, is through Hegelian dialectic, which is they create a problem to which they have a solution. So all these things is a theater. This is just a theater to take your freedoms away. There is absolutely no reason, because one female politician said something, to take freedoms of United States citizens away. So we should not agree. President Trump should not agree to this, because he swore in with protecting the Constitution of United States, and he is liable and he needs to protect our rights of free speech.
But unfortunately, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. With the Congress passing this, it is going to be overwhelmingly sweeping the Senate, because the Congress was already majority Democratic. They passed this law because they threw in the other issues in there about the Arabs, so that gave them the ability to pass it. Not to mention, where this lady got in trouble was talking about AIPAC, the Jewish lobby, and yet we have people like former Congresswoman McKinney, who spoke out about this, how originally they had to sign documents of support for the Jewish lobby, AIPAC, and of course she got criticized for it, but they changed a few things as a result. But now we have the anti-Semitic bill is already passed Congress. It'll pass the Senate with no questions asked. And Trump, even though he went on there and he was angry because it included included Arabs, he said it should have been for Israel only.
It shouldn't be for nobody. We have to be able to freely speak and say what we want to say. What does it mean? In Israel there is no criminals. There is no New World Order in Israel. There is no Freemasons in Israel. Of course, that there are criminals in Israeli government. And why does he say only Israel? Nobody. We can freely speak our thoughts and our feelings.
It goes against the First Amendment, freedom of speech.
It does.
And this
really
is what's dangerous that we're not thinking about. And we realize it's a minority in Israel that are controlling things and that are doing the evils in the world. We realize that. It's the same thing in the Holocaust. We had all the Jews that were killed during the Holocaust, but it was a very small minority in the Jewish Congress. And what I'm saying right now is about to become outlawed. Which, by the way, let me just mention this quickly. We realize this is going to happen. We're going to re-record the Noahide message for you guys. We're going to put it on DVD, and we're going to make it available for you to be able to purchase. And the reason why we're saying this is because...
just for donation.
Okay, for donation then. Because the problem is, we'll be required to remove these videos very soon.
Yeah.
All right? If they don't close our channel down altogether. If they close it down, keep in mind, Danun Institute, your channel as well, Rise Up Children of God.
Yeah, I was inactive because of my sickness the past year, but we might put
Well, actually, I think your channel would get shut down because if Israeli News Live is shut down for the videos we have in the past,
we have
they're
Patreon.
going to shut down, yes.
Now, some people complain they have no money for Patreon. Really, guys, this is only $1 a month. $1 a month, which is $12 a year minimum to get all the content on there. Now, as far as we know, it's not as controlled as YouTube's. This is why we are doing it there. So,
but even then, though, it'll be outlawed. So what we're looking at trying to do, and we'll need your help financially to even pull this off because we got to do it in such a short period of time. We need to get put in video format the Noahide law videos that we're warning people on, so that you have this in your possession. Because once they outlaw it, if you have it, it's okay. We won't be able to sell it after that or give it for donation after that. It'll be done. Then I will mainly stick with teaching, biblical teaching, hoping to open the eyes of our Jewish brothers and sisters that have the ability to still see, or that their eyes can come open. That's what we'll have to revert back to. And our news will be just simple news. We won't be able to deal with the truth of what's happening. That's how serious this is, and people are not realizing that.
No, they don't. They think they love Israel, political Israel, that they do some kind of service to the God of Israel, which God of Israel does not agree with politics of Israel. God of Israel does not agree with right-wing politics of Israel, persecuting his own believers in Yeshua, Jewish believers in Yeshua, and passing laws against them, and then taking their passports, taking their citizenships, soon throwing them out of Israel if they don't go by Judaic law and deny Jesus. So if you are one of those people caught up in this Christian Zionism that is supporting all of this, you really need to wake up and wake up your neighbors. But anyway, let's go read about this.
Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestation of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. Working definition of anti-Semitism by European Monitor Center on Racism and Xenophobia. Which keep in mind that, like we exposed what Rabbi Riskin is doing with the Noahide laws, is anti-Semitism in their book. All right, contemporary examples of anti-Semitism is the following: calling for aiding or justifying the killing or harming of Jews, which we do not do that, often in the name of radical ideology or extremist views of religion.
Well, let me stop here. Who is guilty of this is a Chabad, because Chabad will be calling for killing of Christians, and they're putting in laws. They're just asking just for that killing of Christians. So what they accuse us of, they're guilty of themselves.
Except that it's not Jews in this case. There are many Jews that are, though, yes, but
no, Chabad. The
I know that. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, especially not exclusively the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions.
Well, they do control media. They do control economy through Rothschild world banking. I mean, the Rothschilds are Jews.
That's what I'm saying. It's a new world order.
Exactly.
And people, listen, my Christian friends and stuff that are listening to this, like I said before, you want to support Israel. Go back 2,000 years ago. It was a Roman Pharisaical control of the country. They put our Messiah to death as a result of that under a conspiracy between the two groups. There were a remnant of Jews that believed that Yeshua indeed was the Messiah. They were persecuted, in some cases to death, for what they believed. Now, we are on the same setup like it was 2,000 years ago. There was a Sanhedrin in control then. There was a Roman authority that was in cooperation with the Sanhedrin, as it is today. Same thing. There is a high priest back then. They had the 71 in the Sanhedrin, and they were doing all the laws, and all the capital punishment went to the Roman authority to carry out. All right? Same thing will be done today. Capital punishment will be carried out by a Roman or a Gentile authority, and they're putting those Noahide laws there to be able to do just that. And who's going to be the target? Like it was 2,000 years ago. The true believers of Yeshua were the target of the laws. And that's what's going to happen again now. It is very dangerous, and for you to support this, and to support, instead of your Jewish brothers and sisters in Israel that are standing for Christ, that are going to end up being dragged into the courts because they believe Yeshua to be the Son of God, to be deity. You know, for them, no, maybe because they can use the technicality that they're not Jews because they believe in Yeshua, and they could have them beheaded anyway. But even if they accept them as Jews, they're either going to force them to convert back, or they're going to be put into prisons and tortured, etc. This is what you support? You really got to think about how serious this law is.
Yeah.
It's the same. History is picking up where it left off. And Yeshua will come, and when he does come, and he sees what you have chosen. Have you chosen Barabbas, the murderer? The law is a murderous law. The Noahide law is a murderous law that will be turned loose on the believers.
Yes, and they already have their trolls who are coming everywhere where is spoken about Noahide laws to kind of say that's not true, this is not really happening, you know, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
they already have their agents who are trying to sway your opinion, even though there is unbelievable, proven, factual information that these laws are put into our law system, and they're working on them worldwide.
Yes.
So,
accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group, the state of Israel, or even for facts committed by non-Jews. No, notice that. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing.
By a single Jewish person.
You take books like, what are the names of the books, Jana? You know them better than I do. Is it Perfidy? Is one of those books there. Jews that have written books that have actually exposed the crimes of the Zionists and the destroying and killing of true Jews that were in the Holocaust.
In fact, who exposed the most crimes of the Jewish state is the Jews themselves.
Exactly.
Not Gentiles, really.
Yeah, because the Gentiles are too caught up into the euphoria of the state of Israel that they have failed to recognize. You know, as you mentioned to me this morning, they have forgotten their first love.
Yes, they did. They
have forgotten Yeshua.
Completely. They forgot
and instead have embraced the state of Israel, and that's the people that will end up accepting the Antichrist.
You know, when the embassy was transferred to Jerusalem, so many Christians waved Israeli flags. They went nuts. Everybody was so happy, like this is the most godliest thing happening, and now America is going to be so blessed because we had done this. And now you hear all the other nations are putting embassy. Why do you think embassies are putting Jerusalem? This is because, Stephen, they're going to get away with United Nations which is the actually creation of Rothschilds, by the way, Hegelian dialectic again. United Nations was created for the purpose of creating the state of Israel originally. Now the United Nations will have anti-Israeli rhetoric to make sure so you won't fall in love with them, so you don't believe them, because now what's happening is that Sanhedrin that was formed in 2004, I think, or 2006, I don't remember exactly, okay, is moving to Jerusalem. They have everything ready under the temple there.
But under the Temple Mount.
On the Temple Mount, that's right. They have everything ready. There are pictures proving it. We have people who went there and saw it, and we have pictures from there. All of their judges' seats are ready for the Sanhedrin. And the Sanhedrin very soon is going to be transferred from United Nations. It's going to be transferred, the power of a world court is going to be transferred to Sanhedrin. So 71 Jews are going to be judges for the entire world, for entire earth.
What does it make you think of when you think of people doing things underground like that?
Well, things underground, everything is happening, so the suddenly can come up as something wonderful,
I'm not even going to speak about that. That really upsets me, though. Accusing the Jews as people or Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust, that's what they have in Germany already.
Yes.
A friend of ours that we have interviewed here before, we couldn't even post one of the interviews because his fear of being put in prison in Germany for 10 years, only because he disputed the actual number. He believed the Holocaust, he knew the Holocaust happened, but he didn't believe it was technically 6 million. I don't know if it was like 4 million some odd thousands.
He said number that actually was on books in Germany. He went and researched the actual books, and he disagreed with the number 6 million even. Right? Why 6 million even? Why not 6 million and one?
Yeah.
Why not 6 million and five?
It was still a very high number that he had discovered, but it wasn't quite all the way to 6 million. Well, he was in danger of going to prison for that very statement.
For that. Now the thing is that the number 6 million is extremely important to Talmudic Jews, because this is the number prophesied in the Talmud, that when 6 million Jews die, the Talmud reign can exist, can come upon the earth, and a Talmud reign will bring the Messiah.
And of course, this is the reason why.
This is the reason.
We've seen all the Jews killed in the Holocaust was to try to get that number up.
Exactly. And then the more you see the 6 million and say it and keep saying it and believing it, the more people believe in it, they have this superstition that it will become real, and they're going to bring their Talmud reign and their Messiah. This is, I'm talking to Talmud because I'm studying this, what they're all about. Okay, and the
last one, accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interests of their own nations. Now, that's kind of a dumb one to me, because it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're loyal to Israel and you're Jewish, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if you're an American Jew and you feel more loyalty to Israel, I used to feel that way, but I also recognize too that in America, as an American citizen, we should stand for the laws of America. Well, even if I don't agree with them, we have a constitution.
You know what? I will tell you this. I'll say that I'm half Jew, because they don't consider me full Jew because it's after my father mostly, not mother. So, but I will tell you this. I came to America because I love America, because I came from communistic country, okay? And I know what it is to live under communism, under totalitarian regime. And United States of America had Constitution of freedom and of opportunity. And I came here to be loyal to America. And I am loyal to the United States of America for their Constitution, for the original republic, for the original freedoms that we still, little bit of them have, and they're now taking away from us every bit of them.
Well, the thing is, even with that last one, I think what's important here is that when it comes to what the United States Constitution states, we should not allow a foreign country to dictate our constitutional
That's what they want
agreements.
you to say. That foreign country cannot control our government, which
They
our
don't want to
foreign
say
policy is controlled by the Israelis. And let me tell you, a lot of Jewish citizens are in our political positions. They have double citizenship. They are in a positions. They are citizens of Israel and at the same time citizens of United States, and they're more loyal to Israel than United States, and this is why they're putting this into the law. So you won't be able to bring it to open or say anything. I personally believe that in a political positions in United States should be only and solely United States citizens, no citizens of any other country. I am a dual citizen of European Union and United States, but if I was going for political office, I would drop my EU citizenship gladly.
Right.
Because I don't want to be citizen of any other country other than United States when you are in a position of service to the people.
Right. And to me, when it comes to an anti-Semitism bill, all right, this is where I would actually say, as Americans, we could pass an anti-Semitism bill. If the anti-Semitism bill was some group attacking a synagogue or attacking a Jewish person on the street, bringing them harm, that is to me what true anti-Semitism is. It's the same thing as, and the thing is we have laws in the country already. Like in the case of school shootings, you shoot somebody, you're going to go to jail.
Every single Jew in this country was protected by the Constitution.
Exactly.
There is no anti-Semitism, okay? Because every single Jewish person has a freedom of religion. They want to believe their Talmud, they can. Go ahead, believe your Talmud. Nobody took it away from them.
And we have a hate crime bill
and
already.
And we have already a hate crime bill. We don't need any new anti-Semitic bill. We really don't. Because it takes our freedoms away of speaking truth. And that gives power to the criminals in Israel. And this
people need to contact their senators. You need to contact your senators, and you need to express your voice against there. And Jana put together several pictures here just to show you.
Yeah, now this picture
corroboration
right here was caught. This is Ivanka and Jared caught when they're going to Schneerson's grave to pray to the dead Schneerson. They're not praying to the God of Israel. They're not praying to Jesus Christ, Stephen. Ivanka has sold out Jesus Christ. She became a Chabad Jew.
Yes.
Okay, she went to Talmudic Judaism, and she's so praised in Christian circles, like something wonderful, like, ooh, Trump is praising this, like, oh, we have a Jewish babies and Jewish daughter. What's good about Talmud? They're not in a true Judaism. They're in a Talmudic Judaism that propagates Noahide laws against Christians. Now here they're going to pray to Schneerson, to dead Schneerson, for Trump to win, for Trump to not to be assassinated. You understand?
Yes.
So
yes.
That's a shame that these things are allowed.
Right.
But anyway.
Now this, of course, is President Trump in Israel and Jared Kushner in behind the rabbis there.
Yeah.
And of course, the thing is, I mean, I understand every nation wants to have influence with the U.S. Politicians to help for bills for things that could be passed in favor of Israel. I don't have so much of an issue when it comes to that, or if Israel is facing a crisis of a nation trying to attack Israel. But the problem is it's the other way around in the modern society that we're dealing with today. We are actually fighting wars at the bidding of what Israel has wanted to do, but yet it's being suppressed, and that's not being told true. What I'm saying to you now is going to be considered illegal.
Yeah. Now look at this is Jared Kushner right there.
Yes, Jared Kushner is in behind.
What is this? Talmud,
He's a child.
This Bible?
I cannot tell without knowing what's on the cover itself. It could be a Tanakh. It could be Talmud. It's too thick to be a Talmud, though.
Talmud is thick.
Well, it could be a Midrash.
Pages.
It depends on which book you're looking at. There's a lot of different books that go with that, so it just depends. And of course, here at the, I'm not sure exactly where this picture is taken at right here, but again, we have the president. And
I mean, he's surrounded by one wing of Judy Chabad Lubavitchers, okay, which is the head of a snake. All right, so
very, very troubling, and you have to understand, these are our people, and we love them, and we care, we want them. The whole premise for the last days was that for a remnant of Israel, which, keep in mind, a remnant is not all the Jews by no means, but there is a remnant that their eyes are to come open to recognize who? Yeshua as Messiah.
Yes.
They're not to be recognizing President Trump as the great Messiah or Jared Kushner as the Messiah. It's to be recognizing Yeshua. And the Christian community has totally negated the very purpose of the scriptures, that Yeshua, our true love. No wonder why. You mentioned to me this morning that very thing. I mentioned it already, but you said to me they have forgotten their first love. They forgot that Yeshua is truly the Messiah, and instead they've been the Christian community now is embracing the state of Israel, and anyone that is standing like this for a political entity.
That's idolatry.
Exactly. Do you really think that Yeshua is going to come down here and is going to say, okay, we have all these world armies, the Americans, the NATO, and I have Israel and their army, and thank God for you to be here. Let's annihilate the rest of the people on the planet. No, they've already said. Do you know the Sanhedrin? The head of the Sanhedrin has already said, Jesus is not the Messiah. That's what he said.
Yes. They hate
That way they'll
Jesus.
take that part of what I just said and they'll put it on some video somewhere and say, you see, Steve said that Jesus isn't the Messiah. No, the Sanhedrin said that. All right? And that you can forget it, that Jesus, they're going to come back and say he's only just a prophet. The Catholic Church is already in cooperation. They're going to say there's new documents that show that he's not the Messiah. They're bringing you to a new world order. Hook, line, and sinker, boy. I mean, it's like everybody done swallowed everything, including the cork.
And evangelicals are speeding the new world order. Some knowingly, some unknowingly. So this is
why? Because these mega millionaire pastors, instead of people supporting what's truth, and they got to be mega millionaires, maybe they were involved in some of the drug rings that are going on as well, and laundering drug money and stuff. So. Yes, one did get caught, but it's hard to catch them because you can drop a load of suitcase of cash, and that pastor will say whatever you want him to say. Oh,
let's
geez.
keep moving
All
because
right, I'm ready to vomit.
I have Dr. Day today. Well, the few things that I want to give you ahead in this informal chat here is something that we want to bring out more of on our Wednesday chats. But this is Israeli soldier story. Eran Efrati, a Jewish, well, I don't say brother in Christ because he doesn't know Christ.
He doesn't believe that Yeshua is Messiah.
He's a righteous Jew.
Yes,
he's a righteous Jewish person who came to warn Gentiles here in America of what is really going on, and
he'll be in prison for what he says.
He was already not able to return to Israel, and he's a former IDF soldier. And he's a son of police chief of Jerusalem.
Yes.
And they disowned him as a son because he decided to come and tell the truth. Now, this particular...
You're not going to see him very well in the video because it's really dark because they're doing a screen view, but you'll be able to hear him very well.
But he speaks with accent and he speaks kind of fast, but...
Where do we need to go?
We will give a link. But anyway, what he's actually saying here is what I am trying to propose that they did with this Muslim woman, Stephen, that I believe she's just an actor. I believe she just came in there, she was put in there by some kind of a Jewish organization who wanted her to say these words so they can bypass Constitution and put out anti-Semitic law against our freedom of speech. Because this is their tactics, Hegelian dialectic. And he's talking about this like when they dress up Israelis who look like Arabs as if they were Arabs, Palestinians.
Yes.
And they make them to cause trouble so there is a reason to go attack Gaza.
Exactly.
So when this is happening out of mouth of Jewish person who is IDF.
Where do we need to go?
Well, try 25 and keep going. Or maybe 30. Try 28.
Ton bombs on civilians, clearing the path for them to go in. They saw white phosphates falling from the sky, burning everything it touches along the way. But until it was their time to go by foot into Gaza, there was no enemy left. Just hundreds of dead bodies around them every day of the operation. And they came out very confused. And in the next 3 months, I will collect testimonies from everyone that served inside Gaza during this time. And we'll put a booklet down of breaking the silence, a booklet of testimonies from Operation Castlet. But before we going out with it to the Israeli public, we want to make sure this time we have a good platform so people will listen. It's important enough. So we're going to the most lefty newspaper in Israel. What is the most lefty newspaper in Israel? Haaretz. Everybody knows Haaretz all the time. It's weird. Yeah, so we're turning to Haaretz. And I'm talking with Amos Saleh, the military reporter of Haaretz, and I'm telling him the stories, and him saying, whoa, if these stories is true, you guys are getting a cover story. And he's verifying the stories for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, he's saying, it's going to come out this Friday. And all of us on Friday go out to the stores and buy all the outlets we can, but there is no cover story. And there is no backstory or middle story. So we're going back to the office, and we're calling the outlets editorial and saying, what happened? And they will explain to us, basically, yesterday we got a phone call from the IDF spokesman. And the IDF spokesman gave us 2 options. Or you're going with breaking the silence, or you're going with me. But if you're going with breaking the silence, I'm not working with you anymore. And the Haaretz editorial is continuing to explain to us and saying, you know, we don't really have investigative reporters in Gaza or in the West Bank, except for maybe Amir Hask. So we really rely on the IDF spokesman to give us the truth from these territories. And I'm hanging up the phone and I'm flipping through the booklet that the Israeli public will not read anymore. But then I notice there's holes in the stories. There's a few stories in the booklet, our booklet, that are missing completely, and there's a few booklets with holes in the middle of them. So I'm going to my boss at the time, to Yehuda, and I'm saying, what is going on? There's holes in the story. And he said, oh, that's fine, that's fine. This is only what the IDF censorship took down. And I'm saying, what? I said, oh, come on, Eran, don't be naive. You know that every news channel in Israel, every TV channel, every radio station, every blogger on the internet or newspaper have to go through the idea of censorship, right? And I'm saying, no, I didn't know that. We don't have free press. This is amazing. But wait. We're breaking the silence, right? We're breaking this silence. And Yehuda is looking at me and saying, oh yeah, we're breaking this silence that the idea of censorship allows us to break. And I understand that my days in the organization is numbered. And after a few months, I will go out for breaking the silence and will continue to do the same kind of work, only by my own. I will collect testimonies from soldiers, from officers. I will collect stories from people outside of the army, the biggest officials inside the military and security industry in Israel. Collect their stories and get it back, instead of breaking the silence, to the reporters of the Times, to the Guardian, a lot of the stories, to the Washington Post, to BBC. I will start to send the stories outside, and they will publish. Not fully, but a lot of them will publish outside. And during this time, I'm discovering something pretty amazing. The more I go in looking for
Keep listening, he'll say it.
Okay.
occupation, the more I find money. And I don't understand, so I'm going deeper and deeper. And then in 2010, I'm getting into a very interesting story about how the Israeli government and Israeli army was selling a new tear gas canister into the government of police, the police and government of Singapore people. They're selling tear gas canister to fight their protest in their country. And during this time, I'm looking and I'm saying, Israel is selling tear gas canister? So I'm going into the website of the Minister of Security in Israel, and I find out they're saying that Israel just concluded a deal with the Singapore government of selling the best tear gas canister ever produced and tried by the Israeli army. And he mentioned there a few lines later that this tear gas canister was proven to be the most deadliest ever. And I'm going back and I'm saying, wait, try the tear gas canister. Who would be agreed to be tried? And then I understand. They're trying the weapons every day. Not in labs, down there on the field. They're trying their weapons. I was trying their weapons in Birin, in Yalin, in Kfar Kadum, in Abi Salah, in Bethlehem, in Hebron. El Halil, South Mount Hebron, in East Jerusalem. We're trying the weapons every day, and then we're selling it outside. And I couldn't believe the things that I'm seeing, so I'm going deeper and deeper. And then I realized that, you remember this guy, the young guys that threw stones in the beginning of the protest? They were not Palestinians. They were actually an undercover unit of the Israeli army, looking like me, Arab Jews, disguising as Palestinians inside these villages, starting a riot, starting something. So the Israeli army will have a good excuse to start shooting the place up and testing the weapons. And the more I go, the more I can understand. Is this for real? How long is it going through? How much money are we making? I'm going in, and then I discovered in the last 40 years, and this is a very, very passionate.
We will leave you a link to listen to the entire video. It's really a must listen. And then of course he made many other videos, and we are looking for him and writing him to come on our show while he still can, because we don't know how much longer we have freedom. But
he's fearful. He's very fearful.
He's fearful now because he's being threatened. But the thing is, Stephen, did you hear him say that it was actually Arab-looking IDF soldiers that went in, disguised as Palestinians, to cause trouble so Israeli government with Israeli army can try weapons on innocent civilians so they can sell them on the war market, Steve.
Yes.
And then he's bringing all the factual information, how much money they're making doing these kind of things. Now that's what I'm talking about, deception. Then I come to this Muslim woman suddenly appearing in the United States politics talking against Israel. It's like just convenient.
Yeah, and then how did she get elected so easily?
How did she get elected? And she said the right thing. So now they can pass these laws which will affect our free speech.
Yes.
And you know, I am kind of angry because of this. I probably come across as a very angry woman right now, but that's how I feel about United States Constitution. That's how I feel about our freedoms here. I feel very angry when somebody's trampling on our freedoms, and I'm not happy about it. Needless to say, what time is it, Steve? Because we
I have no idea.
Okay.
Let's finish up real quick. Let's at least
we
get
probably
these
don't
next
have
two.
time. I will have to leave all the other slides for Wednesday.
Okay.
Because
All
we
right.
don't have time. I'm going with Dr. Lauren Day today for
Okay.
interview about natural treatments for cancer, which we will release on Rise Up, Children of God, and later on Israeli News Live as well.
Yes. All right. So anyway, we won't get into Doreen Day.
No, that's something I want to really
Doreen
address,
Dotan.
and I want to address her really heavily because
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of emails.
One thing, let me just say though about Doreen Dotan that you need to be aware of, so you know this. She warned the Christian population that these things are going to happen. Things are going to change, and that you're going to come under laws, and that it will be ran from Israel.
She's an Israeli Jew and wife of a rabbi, and very good in Talmud, and she studies Talmud, Gemara, and Gematria.
Yes.
And I'm not for Doreen, actually. I want to expose her very much, but I'm going to do this on Wednesday. Why don't we do that?
Let's
because
do that
there's no
then.
time.
All right. So anyway, friends, sorry. So we can't go further with you guys. At least we're still running live. Everything's working okay over here for you guys. But anyway, best to you there. It's our broadcast for today. And but thank you for watching. Please don't forget, support this broadcast. You can go to our website, IsraeliNewsLive.org. And you can support there. Our address is there. You can donate online. We need your help. We've got to get this stuff put into DVD, and we've got to do it in a short amount of time to get this in your hands, because soon it's not going to be available. Everything we have spent together speaking about the Noahide laws and what they're about to do to this nation, not just to the nation, but to the world, and what's going to happen to the believers and the beheadings, that's all going to be silenced very, very soon.
Yes.
So please help us get the word out while we still have the opportunity.
Thank you.
Stephen Ben-Nun with Jana Ben-Nun, where you're listening to Stephen Jana chat here on Israeli News Live. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.